The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to make a follow-up video to a potential matchup that's more than likely going to happen next, and that is the matchup with John Ryder and Canelo, because now that John Ryder made Zach Parker quit and exposed him for the fighter that he wasn't. He's now the WBO interim champion at super middleweight, and now he's in prime position to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, this is a fight that John Ryder has actually wanted for a long time. He's actually called Canelo out for a long time. And, you know, I've been watching social media. I've been seeing a lot of boxing fans, mostly uninformed boxing fans, say that if Canelo Alvarez were to fight John Ryder next, this would be a cherry pick. Now, not only could this not be anything further from the truth, but John Ryder would be better than the majority of Canelo Alvarez's resume at 168. Because let me explain. First and foremost, John Ryder, for those that don't know, he was egregiously and disgustingly robbed in what I truly believe is the 2019 robbery of the year when he fought Callum Smith for the Ring Magazine belt, and I believe it was a couple of other belts. Like, he should have been unified champion. He beat Callum Smith, but he was the B-side fighter fighting Callum Smith in his hometown of Liverpool. That's already a place that he's fought at and been robbed when he previously fought Rocky Fielding years before. And he didn't get the decision there either. In another fight, people thought he won. So he's been a guy that's been robbed many times in his career. And the 32-5 record doesn't indicate how good of a fighter he really is. So I was of the mindset that John Ryder should have been champion. And if you guys remember, Callum Smith right after that fight, he signed for the Canelo fight to fight Canelo next. That was his next fight right after that. And if you remember, when that fight was signed here on this channel, the day it was signed, I made the video and I told you guys that was going to be one of the least competitive fights of that year, Callum Smith versus Canelo, and it was. So to me, John Ryder is a better 68-pounder than Callum Smith was. He's also a better 168-pounder than Billy Joe Saunders was, because while Billy Joe Saunders may have beaten John Ryder at 160 for the British title, and by the way, that was a very close fight. It wasn't like Saunders blew him out. That was another close fight that he barely just won. And that was when John Ryder wasn't as good as he is now. But if we're comparing what both men did at 168, Billy Joe, for lack of a better term, did fuck all at 168. He beat the dude Isufi for a vacant title. Who the hell is Isufi? We still don't know. He fought, what was it, Martin Murray, looked less than spectacular. And then he fought Marcel Coceres, I believe, at 68 as well, the guy that dropped Edgar Berlanga, which was a solid win. But he didn't really do anything at 68. His best performance at 168 was the Canelo fight, and he got his eye broken. So I never really rated, like, Billy Joe's a good fighter, very talented. I'll never discredit his boxing abilities. But if we're judging Billy Joe strictly off of what he did at 168, he didn't really do a whole lot at 168, to be honest with you. So, you know, I've always viewed John Ryder as higher than those two men. He's done more. He's been putting in more work, and I've been saying it for a long time. John Ryder is the most underrated super middleweight in the world. He's the most underrated 68-pounder in the world. Is he better than Caleb Plant at 168? I don't think so, but he's got a really good resume, and to say that John Ryder at this moment in time doesn't deserve a shot against Canelo Alvarez and to call him a cherry pick would be disingenuous, because look, a lot of you boxing fans out there, y'all can't be honest and y'all can't be real with yourselves. Like, y'all want hype jobs, and I use this term very, very accurately. Y'all want hype jobs like David Benavidez to get a Canelo fight, and we just now heading into 2023, and he's just now fighting at Caleb Plant. But then meanwhile, you've had John Ryder putting in work. He fought Callum Smith. He fought, Daniel Jacobs. He fought Zach Parker as the B-side on a matchroom card. Like, I know Daniel Jacobs, I don't rate Daniel Jacobs the highest, but he's still a really good fighter, and he's still a name in this weight class. Where the hell is, like, David Benavidez's Daniel Jacobs caliber win? He don't really got it. And y'all over here calling this guy Mexican monster. He's fighting 54-pounders, 60-pounders. He barely fought top guys in his weight class. But meanwhile, John Ryder been putting in all this work, beat Daniel Jacobs in a fight that a lot of people thought he was going to lose. Beat Zach Parker as the underdog. Whooped Callum Smith, but then got robbed. He's put in work year after year after year and been one of the weight class's most consistent performers. So if there was anybody in this weight class that deserves the big stage and all the positive things that come with fighting Canelo Alvarez, like your profile being boosted, obviously the Canelo payday that all fighters want to get, and the opportunity to fight Canelo and beat him and do something more for your career, that guy is John Ryder. It truthfully is John Ryder. And you know what? Not only that, people say he'll get schooled, he'll get this, he'll get that. They never explain to you why. They just say, oh, he'll get schooled because of this and because of that. They don't tell you from a boxing standpoint why he would get whooped by Canelo Alvarez, because they can't. It's a good fight. I think Canelo Alvarez and John Ryder are very similar in terms of stature. Both men are physically strong. Although I do think Canelo is physically strong, but I do think he's not a guy that likes to always utilize that physical strength. He's a guy that can do it in pockets, but he's more of a compact counterpuncher. As to where with John Ryder, he will literally go in there and maul you if need be. So I think the fact that Canelo will get a guy like that that's going to be there, he's going to bring the fight to him. He can box a little bit himself. He's got great stamina. He gets better as the fight goes on. John Ryder is no easy out for anybody in the super middleweight division. And I think this fight's going to be a much better fight if it happens, if it comes off next for Canelo in May. I think it'll be a much better fight than people anticipate. I think for damn sure John Ryder is going to do a better job against Canelo than Canelo Smith did, because Canelo Smith didn't do shit against Canelo. He didn't win one round against Canelo. And he might even do better than Canelo than Caleb Plant did, because Caleb Plant, he won some rounds and he looked good. But, Caleb Plant, once he got really touched, you saw what happened. You saw how the fight ended. And he wasn't, I gotta be honest and humble myself and admit, he wasn't as good as I thought he was. But, with John Ryder, every time I've seen him fight since the Callum Smith fight, and even when I go back and study his career with some of the European level fights he had and British level fights he had, I've seen the improvements. I've seen how he's gotten better. And I truthfully believe in my heart of hearts that John Ryder is going to give Canelo Alvarez one of his toughest fights at 168. And I can't wait for it to happen. So should be a good fight. If Canelo takes the fight next, then credit to him, because I really do rate John Ryder highly. The 32-5 record, like I said, it's not indicative of how good of a fighter he is. I view him as a world champion because that's what he is. He beat Callum Smith, and that's just what it is. So if it comes off next, I know I'm going to be very agitated hearing people say he's a cherry pick, because most people on YouTube and just in general don't know shit about boxing. But it'll be a great fight, and you shout out to John Ryder for picking himself up off the ground after what happened to him 3 years ago against Callum Smith, and going out there and believing in himself and winning these fights against guys like Daniel Jacobs, which some people like to say he got a gift decision, which I don't think so. Daniel Jacobs didn't even come to win that night. And then, whooping, making Zach Parker quit. So, shout out to him, the gorilla. But yeah, leave your comments down below, guys. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.